People paying money to see me in a 20 by 20 ring.
Hello, wrestling fans. Welcome back for another edition of the 20 by 20 Ring Crew. I am Joe. I'm here with my brother Matt. What's going on, Matt?
What is going on?
We're back, episode 28 for you guys. We're about a week removed from SummerSlam 2018. And, yeah. I
You sound excited.
Oh, yeah.
Hangover of great wrestling,
Can't you just hear the fucking enthusiasm?
I mean, we come off of probably easily our longest episode ever with the G1 climax. And, you know, as always, we got wrestling on in the background. We're watching some more international wrestling, like Ring of Honor, but they're in the UK for a reunited tour.
This is the first stop in Edinburgh, Scotland?
Yeah. And, you know, we get some good action here. And we're talking WWE to start. All right, SummerSlam. SummerSlam weekend. It took place from August 18th, Saturday night, to August 19th, which was the actual date for SummerSlam. Now, before we talk, I got to be fair to all listeners out there. I have not watched SummerSlam. I've said it on the show that I wasn't going to watch it this year, not out of protest or anything of that nature. I had no desire.
Yeah.
I had no desire to spend 4 or 5 hours watching something a card that I didn't give two shits about. But I know you did. You watched at least most of it, right?
I just got done remarking to Matt here that I turned it on as it was airing live, and I tuned in during the Charlotte Flair Becky Lynch Carmella match.
Okay.
So first off, thank you for taking that fucking belt off of Carmella.
Yeah.
That was awesome that they did that. But actually, this match wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, and I love Becky Lynch's heel turn. I, for one, wasn't expecting it. Maybe some of you out there did or were. I don't watch the product weekly, so it was news to me, and so maybe that was the reason it was so refreshing for me, but yeah. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I figured as soon as Charlotte Flair got thrown in the mix, and this is another reason why I don't watch it, and I'm a Charlotte Flair fan, and you and I are going to dive into this a little bit more, but it's just like, oh my God, here we go again. She's going to win the title. She's going to win the title. And it's just like her 20th fucking reign already, and it's so. I didn't necessarily predict that Becky Lynch was going to turn heel, but I knew something had to give because they were pushing almost like this Rocky Balboa, like from the ashes kind of thing.
Okay.
She's making this comeback, and she's going to regain that title, and she's not going to be living in the shadow of anybody anymore. And then like Charlotte Flair out of nowhere is in this match, and it's like something's got to give with that because now there's no chance in hell that Becky Lynch is going to win this match. So, and that's not me being like some smart fan. That's just, to me, that was like a pretty clear writing. Like if you had a little bit of a background, I know I've watched it a little bit more than you have in the past.
Yeah.
So it's like I had enough of that background. I'm like, yeah, Becky's not going to win it, and and then Carmella's definitely not coming out as champion.
And you know what though?
Not at SummerSlam.
That's nothing new either, though. I mean, they do that. You get this person that should have a title or not necessarily a title, but have some sort of elevation in the company.
Yeah.
And it's like you just keep getting teased and teased over and over, and it's like you can only go so long with that carrot dangled in front of you, so to speak, before something like this happens. And so when it did happen, I wasn't hip to what was going on necessarily, so it was a little more refreshing to me than it would be to most people, especially if you watched the product more often than I do.
Right.
But that's when I tuned in. I tuned in with that match, so I missed the pre-show. Not that I would have watched the pre-show anyway. Andrade Cien Almas defeated. I'm sorry, it was a mixed tag. So Cien Almas and Zelina Vega defeated Lana and Rusev.
You know what I can't stand about? I love Almas and Vega's okay, but I can't stand. This is. I don't let it bother me anymore because this is WWE fans being WWE fans. But like, oh my god, I love their Tranquilo thing. Like that's so cool and original. I don't even need to say anything. Like any wrestling fan out there knows that's a complete fucking shot at Andrade's former stablemate. So yeah. I'll leave it at that. Again, they didn't come up with that.
I saw Seth Rollins. When was that? The last pay-per-view, not SummerSlam. Extreme Rules.
Okay.
He used a move that Kenny Omega uses. A move that Kenny Omega uses. And I saw Seth Rollins use it for the first time, and I had people remarking to me like, "Whoa, that's cool! Like, how did he come up with that?" And I'm like, "Well, I got at least one idea where he got it from."
Well, you know what? Too, it comes down to when CM Punk started doing the GTS as well, and they're like, "Oh my god, like that's so original." And it's like he admitted that he took that.
No.
That only happened here. And then the guy fucking gets signed. By the way, I'm talking about Hideo Itami.
Yeah.
Gets signed by the company. I'm like, oh my god, he does CM Punk's move. And it's like, I'm done with you guys. Yeah. I'm done.
Oh boy. So the rest of the pre-show, Cedric Alexander, your 205 Live Cruiserweight Champion, defeated Drew Gulak. This is one that I would have liked to watch.
Yeah.
Seems they got a decent time, a little over 10 minutes to do what they did. Brian Kendrick and gentleman Jack Gallagher were banned from ringside. For what reason, I don't know, because I don't watch 205 Live.
They got a faction going on still. Those three.
Oh,
with Gulak.
Them and Gulak.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So that's still a thing. So that's why that was probably put in place. I haven't watched in some time, but last time I watched, they were a trio.
I'm already gonna get shitty with this match, not necessarily because of the performance. Obviously, I didn't watch it, but why is it on the pre-show? Why can I not be on the main show?
Because it's the Cruiserweight title.
It's fucking bullshit.
Cruiserweight title, and the little guys are they can't sell out arenas. At least that's what Vince McMahon would have you believe.
Fuck. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, there's no point in talking about that.
The B team of Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, our fucking Raw Tag Team Champions, defeated the Revival.
Not a fan?
Which is Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson. So, a few days ago, this is post SummerSlam, obviously. A few days ago, the Revival hopped on Twitter and apologized to the original Midnight Express and Jim Cornette for the lack of a tag team division on Monday Night Raw, I should say. So that made wrestling news this week, and I find it interesting that those guys took the time to do that, and two, that the company has not backlashed at them for it. Don't get me wrong, it's not like they're apologizing to people in Ring of Honor or New Japan or like a company that they're in competition with. So
right.
I guess that's not why they're getting their pee-pee slapped for
right.
for the apology.
Right.
But it's still pretty interesting that nothing has come out like you guys should shut your mouth or like they're making them shut down their Twitter or anything like that, because it's bad. It's at least in a traditional sense, you've got talent not putting other talent over. And don't get me wrong, I'm on the side of the Revival here. Like, they're absolutely right. There is no fucking tag division. But you know what did we say 2 episodes ago? Tag teams go there to die.
Yeah.
You know,
that's exactly it.
and it's unfortunate because both Matt and I and a plethora of other people that we know used to be fans of the Revival.
God, you go back to those NXT days. Some of the best matches I've seen involve them.
Do yourself a favor if you guys want to see what we're talking about. Just go get yourself hop onto your WWE Network subscription if you don't have one. Again, 20x20crew.com/podcast/WWE Network. That's all one word. You can get one there, possibly at a discount. But go on NXT, watch those old NXT shows with the Revival on there, and you will see some awesome fucking tag team action. That was... I caught the tail end of... what was the other tag team that they moved up and turned to shit before the Revival? The Ascension.
The Ascension.
So I caught the tail end of the Ascension run in NXT, and that's when I started watching or paying attention more to NXT. And not long after that, you were telling me about the Revival, and I fell in love immediately. I was like,
old school wrestling.
I was like, man, I love these guys. And
I mean, and it's going to sound so cliche, but it's like watching old tapes of the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, man.
Yes.
That kind of wrestling, That's what they had. The whole no fist just flip or no flips just fist. It was exactly what they were all about. And
practicing what they're preaching.
Man, like two guys that just got it. They just understood it.
I also missed the New Day, which ended up being Big E and Xavier Woods with Kofi Kingston at ringside, who actually defeated the Bludgeon Brothers of Harper and Rowan by DQ. So the SmackDown tag titles didn't change hands. They went about 10 minutes. Again, I'm not interested, man.
I heard Harper got hurt again.
Again?
Yeah, they ended up dropping the titles on the next episode of SmackDown to the New Day.
Wow.
So, still not interested. But.
Yeah, no. You know what? That tag team has not interested me since it began. As far as the New Day goes, I don't have the attention span anymore. Their gimmick is old with me now, and I just can't. I can't. And they're also one of those teams for me. It's like they bring it as much as the team they're facing brings it.
Yeah.
So like when you have them up against the Usos, like for whatever reason, man, that works. Mm-hmm. That works well, but the problem is you can't have them wrestle the Usos every fucking time. So,
right.
Moving on.
Yeah.
I also missed Braun Strowman defeating Kevin Owens.
Well, I mean, so did everybody that blinked.
A minute and 50 seconds.
Jesus. What does that say about Kevin Owens? That he's worthy for less than 2 minutes.
He's definitely getting squashed right now, and you know what? Stone Cold Steve Austin on his podcast addressed that. I have not listened to that episode, but he did address it. So I feel bad for Kevin Owens, man. But again,
he signed the contract. I don't feel bad.
Yeah,
for
no,
you.
well,
You
no,
know what you're doing.
No, not to sound like a broken record here, but like, how many times do we have to come out and say it? Like, you sign a contract with that company, and this is the shit that happens
This
to
is
you.
what can happen. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how fucking much of an indie darling or what have you are. Bye. There goes your momentum. Like I said, I tuned in for the Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Carmella match. Again, thank you for taking that title off of Carmella.
Yeah, what the hell?
You talk about setting the fucking women's movement back fucking years. There you go. Moving on. Oh, well, no, let's not move on. Let's talk about Becky Lynch.
Okay.
In this heel turn, as we're now watching Best of the X Division TNA Wrestling on the streaming service, the Global Wrestling Network.
I had some technical difficulties with the ROH show, so we got TNA to work.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's all good. Yeah.
Jerry Lynn's in the ring. That's a good start.
Oh, this is from the very first show. With the flying Elvises?
Whatever they were called.
But,
wow.
Anyways, Becky Lynch.
Yes. Becky Lynch turns heel, and again, I enjoyed it. I think it was a long time coming.
Yes.
There was an interesting article on Cage Side Seats, the folks out there, cagesideseats.com. And Gino Morosco is the author of this article about Becky Lynch and basically how there's this big debate amongst fans on how you should react to basically what the WWE presents on television every week. Do you boo the heels because they're heels, or do you on the same token, do you cheer the baby faces because they're baby faces, whether you like them or not? It's a short read. It's definitely an interesting read. I don't know how much of the article you actually read, but for the most part, I'm with him. But there's I have a little bit to say about it.
Okay.
He ends it with the notion of, above all else, it's up to you, the fan, and no one else, and it's your one, that is your one and only role in watching wrestling or taking part in the product, and to proceed accordingly. He neglects to mention a concept when it comes to storytelling and the roles of heels and the roles of baby faces. If a babyface or a heel are doing their job correctly and acting accordingly, you're going to, if it's a babyface, you're going to cheer for them. If it's a heel and they're doing their job, you're going to boo them, because that's the emotion they're trying to get out of you. That's where I disagree with him. He doesn't really cover that in the article, and let's face it. I'm gonna sound like such a fucking dick right now, but what I just said supersedes what he says in the article. What he's saying is, if you don't like a babyface and the company's telling you this wrestler's supposed to be babyface, cheer for them, or you're supposed to cheer for them. And then he's also saying, you shouldn't, because you should cheer for who you want to cheer. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting here saying, if they're doing their job and they're a babyface, right, you're going to cheer.
Yeah. Simple
as that. I mean, how this shouldn't be rocket science. How hard does this have to be? I mean, you could pick it apart all you want, but that's the brass tacks of it all.
Right. To the writer of the article, what he said isn't incorrect. I mean, you cheer whoever you want to cheer for. That's right. But you're absolutely right. He feels, especially if you're a non-wrestling fan or newer to the game, I should say, you're trying to understand this. What you're saying, Joe, is, and correct me if I'm wrong, isn't saying that he's wrong by saying, or you're supposed to cheer for only the baby faces and boo all the heels. That's not the point. You cheer for whoever you want to cheer for. The point is, as a heel, no matter what you do out there, we've talked about this many times with what a heel is, you're supposed to be dastardly. You're supposed to be antagonizing, whatever it is. If the crowd, let's go cliches here. Let's go very cliches, and let's look at guys that, let's say they're in Chicago, because we're from Chicago, right? Chicago, let's say Chicago pre-World Series 2016.
Okay.
What's one of the easiest ways to antagonize that crowd? You talk about the Chicago Cubs being a bunch of losers. And that's something that's very common. In Philadelphia, you hear that all the time with the Eagles fans.
Yeah.
About the Eagles not winning. And it's just like, it's easy and cliche, but it works. It gets that crowd going.
Cheap pop.
It's a cheap pop, and I've seen guys. I've seen even The Rock do it. Rock, who has a ton of charisma. He's getting cheered when he's supposed to be booed, or he's going to go after your sports teams or something that has to do with your city. Just so he gets you not on your side, on his side anymore, because you're not supposed to cheer what he's saying.
Right.
So that's That's the kind of I agree. That's what he missed on his point. You do whatever you want to do. It's your time. It's your money. The point of the matter is the same thing when you watch a movie or a TV show. You're not supposed to like the villain.
You're not.
You're not supposed to watch, Avengers Infinity War and cheer for Thanos.
Yeah.
Because he's destroying the world.
Right.
So, but if you do, you do. I mean, but that's... In your case, that means he hasn't done his job.
Exactly.
So...
And that's my only issue with all this, and it needs to be said. That's why I bring it up. It needs to be said because you could cheer for whoever the fuck you want, but let's face it, if you're in that ring and you're cutting a promo, or you're cutting a promo wherever you're cutting the promo, and you're supposed to be a bad guy or a heel, and you have people still cheering you on. You need to find something to upset those people.
Yes. Or
make them uneasy, because that's your job. As a heel, that's your job. So.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
If you're a heel in this business and you walk away and people are cheering for you, I gotta imagine that's gotta be a little frustrating too, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Like, they like me, they really like me, but it means I'm not doing my job right. So, and it goes both ways. I mean, obviously, if you're being booed as a babyface, that's not good either. But, and that's why not everybody is a good heel. You think, oh, it's easy to be a bad guy. It's not.
No, it's not.
It's really not. I mean, it's you have to go out of your way to be creative sometimes, because there's just going to be some places that, especially if you're going to, let's say you're going up against Roman Reigns right now. Everybody seems to still hate Roman Reigns, so
he got booed like crazy on Monday Night Raw this past Monday.
So you can put him up against the most dastardly heel, and they're still gonna boo
Roman.
Yeah, still gonna boo Roman. So it's definitely has changed the babyface heel movement as far as fans go. You look at something from the '80s, it was black and white. Even before then, it was black and white. That's, guys like Superstar Billy Graham, obviously heel. Guys like Bruno Sammartino, nobody booed Bruno. I mean, you'd be hard. I mean, you probably would get beat up if you booed Bruno.
Yeah.
At the Garden, So he obvious babyface, and that's how it goes. But nowadays, you got guys like Roman Reigns. I'm just sticking with WWE right now, but Roman Reigns and John Cena. But even go into other promotions, guys like Tetsuya Naito, guys like Kenny Omega, where no matter what Kenny Omega was doing, it was like he's must watch, and I need to see him, and I love this guy, but you're not supposed to.
Yeah, you're not supposed to.
So, and I'm not saying he didn't do his job, because again, that's the point I'm trying to make, that the lines between babyface and heels when it comes to the fans has definitely curved a lot more than what it used to. It's not as black and white as it used to be. However, that doesn't mean that Kenny Omega stopped being a heel. That doesn't mean that Tetsuya Naito stopped beating the shit out of the Intercontinental title. I mean, it probably means he's going to do it even more.
Yeah.
To get his point across, but I digress.
Becky Lynch is a heel. Does it work?
I think so, because you add the real life elements of it. Not saying that she's like legitimately upset that Charlotte Flair took her thunder there, but at the same time, I gotta imagine there's some frustration there. Again, you put in this work, and Charlotte comes off from, I'm assuming she had some kind of injury, or maybe she was just doing some kind of, I don't know, she was taking some time off.
Okay.
I know she spent some time doing some photo shoots and shit of that nature. I heard rumblings that she was going to come back for SummerSlam and all that stuff, and that's fine and dandy. And then when she gets randomly put into the already made SmackDown Women's title match between Carmella and Becky Lynch, it's like, again, as I said earlier, it's like, here we go again. And I've seen this before, and for somebody like Becky Lynch that has put in work, she came back from injuries on her own, and she's been on a nice little roll as of late, and winning matches and this and that, and getting the fan base behind her again, and in comes Charlotte Flair, and it's just like no matter what Becky does, it'll never be as good as Charlotte Flair. So there's got to be somewhere along the lines. I would hazard to guess that there's got to be frustrations as an actual person. It's like, God damn it, I was getting my character here, and no matter what, it's gonna get overpassed by Charlotte Flair. I mean, but then again, so does everybody else. And I like Charlotte Flair, but it's like Asuka's on this great undefeated winning streak. Who's gonna overtake her? Charlotte Flair. Sasha Banks, when she was on a hot streak, she's gonna hot streak, but guess what? She's gotta get that title right back to Charlotte Flair. It's like, enough is enough. Like, Charlotte Flair, if you're not careful, you're going to turn her into like the female version of John Cena, in the sense of she's just shoved down your fucking throat.
It sounds to me like that's already happened for you.
It's starting to be,
yeah.
But I mean, a more talented version. She's definitely. She can definitely work in that ring. There's no doubt about that.
According to the company stats, she has tied Trish Stratus for most women's division title reigns with 7.
7, yeah.
Yes.
That's extreme. And that probably doesn't even include her NXT reigns, I imagine.
Yeah, I would imagine. And now I'm assuming that sets up a match possibly for the Evolution pay-per-view between Charlotte and Trish Stratus.
Yeah. That's disgusting.
Well, But really quick, Becky Lynch, for your personal taste, would you prefer her be a heel champ or a babyface champ?
I'm intrigued, but I guess to answer verbatim like that, it'd probably be babyface champ. But that's from what I've seen her. I don't know. I haven't seen her as a heel yet. I have no take on her as a heel, so I don't know if she can pull off the heel thing.
You know what? I'm definitely going to tune into SmackDown now
to watch her
be heel, because that is something I have never witnessed. So
right, yeah. So I'm not tuning into SmackDown, but I'm definitely going to watch the YouTube highlights.
Well, one of the two. One of the two.
I know what you meant by that. We speak the same language when it comes to WWE. You meant highlights, right?
Yeah.
But no. But the Becky Lynch thing, the heel turn definitely works because of that. Because you have that real life element in it. And if it's not a legit thing, she definitely made it feel legit. So, really good promo she cut, the SmackDown after Raw.
That was cool.
Or, excuse me, after SummerSlam.
Yeah, after SummerSlam.
And, I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued by that. And, again, but real quick about the Charlotte Flair thing, congrats to her, but it does have that same taste to it, where it's like, again, like every single major pay-per-view, you take away the surprise. It's just like with the Roman Reigns situation, where prior to the Brock Lesnar thing, it's like, oh, he's gonna win it every single time. There it is. So, yeah, this is the problem with that company, where they can continue to write the same storylines, just with different faces. So.
Moving on, Samoa Joe defeated AJ Styles by DQ in a match for the WWE Championship. It ran about almost 23 minutes. AJ snaps at the end of the match, and that's what causes the DQ. He goes after Joe with a chair. He laid into him a good handful of times. AJ got busted open before all that happened. The most interesting part about the match for me, and I was trying to explain this to my daughter, because her and I were supposed to watch it together, and again, she decided to tune out because she felt like she wasn't missing anything. So can't say that I'm mad at her. Would have loved the daddy-daughter time, but we'll catch up.
Yeah.
So I was explaining to her that probably the most lively part about the entire match was Joe taking time out of the match to get on the mic and speak to AJ Styles' wife and child at ringside, talking about how he lied. Daddy's not coming home, but that's okay because they have a new daddy. It's stuff like that. That he needed to become a heel, and that's the way to do it. Perfect example. And he got booed like fucking crazy. And then AJ snapped. You mess with my family, so I can't have any of this. And
all he had to do was just say God's not real.
Oh
and
man,
AJ Styles would have he would have probably legit killed him.
Not on WWE TV, man. There's no way that's gonna happen. So yeah, other than that, man. If anything, for me, sorry folks, I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but it made me want to go back and watch old Ring of Honor and
some TNA.
So
what they did was they advertised for the Global Wrestling Network and Honor Club.
Well, you know what? It's funny too because during the match at the beginning, almost towards the beginning, the fans were chanting TNA.
Yeah.
So
now, was this the first time ever for WWE? Did WWE claim this is the first time ever?
I don't know.
This has never happened anywhere else in the world.
I don't know. I don't know.
You only catch it here in WWE. All right.
Moving on, The Miz defeated Daniel Bryan in a little over 23 and a half minutes. This match for me went on way too long.
It seems like it.
And you know what?
Like 23 minutes too long.
And Miz getting the win over Daniel Bryan. There's a lot of speculation right now that Daniel Bryan has either signed an extension, like a short-term extension to his contract, or he re-upped completely with the WWE. Which, in either case, for myself, and I'm sure I speak for you as well, that's fucking disheartening.
Yeah.
But whatever the case may be, it looks like they're going to try and drag this whole Miz Daniel Bryan thing out for as long as they can. I mean, they've got him. It's 8 days now. Let me see, 6. Yeah, I think like 8 days he's got left on his contract, his original contract.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it was too long of a match for me for these two guys. It was boring to me. It was boring.
Well, again, I know a lot of people like The Miz as a heel, and I always hear he's a great heel, and that's fine. I'm sure he still is, but his wrestling is boring.
Yeah, it is.
He knows he has very little moves in that ring. He has very little chemistry with most people. Honestly, he would be a great manager for somebody, but as far as a wrestler, he is not.
There's a few people out there that I know who are wrestling fans who really dig The Miz, and man, I'm sorry, man, I just can't get into his in-ring work. I think it's subpar. But speaking of boring, Finn Balor defeated Baron Corbin.
You mean the rest of the show?
Finn Balor defeated Constable Baron Corbin.
Yeah, say it right.
Excuse me.
The Constable of Monday Night Raw.
In 1 minute and 35 seconds, which for me was 1 minute and 35 seconds too long.
That's even shorter than the Braun Strowman match.
Dude, it happened in the blink of an eye, man. Like, I fucking sat down, I turned my head away from the screen for a little bit, and next thing you know, we're on the next match.
Yeah, you sneeze. And
yeah.
Oh, shit.
So, I'm going to let's just move along.
How do you talk about a 1.5 minute match?
You don't, and that's why we're not. Shinsuke Nakamura defended his U.S. heavyweight title successfully against Jeff Hardy in 11 minutes. Again, man, I miss old Shinsuke, and I miss old Jeff Hardy. Watching these two go at it, fuck. It's give me a headache. The only entertaining part of this match was the comment Shinsuke made about the belt being he's basically come up with his own country, and that's Knock America. Other than that, man, you could have this fucking match too. So, and then there's the match that we need to talk about, because now I'm face to face with you. Ronda Rousey defeats Alexa Bliss to win her first Raw Women's Championship in 4 minutes. Now, before you say anything, because I know what you're going to say, and I'm going to agree with you, but
Yeah.
I will say, first of all, did you watch that match? Yes or no?
I don't watch any of these.
Okay.
Yeah.
With that being said, the match itself was actually pretty interesting,
Okay.
and it happened exactly like you and I said. It was going to take Alexa Bliss to sell like a motherfucker in order for this match to get over. And that's exactly what happened. She sold her ass off. Kudos to Alexa Bliss. She did her job. She did it very well. So much so that when Ronda Rousey submitted her with that armbar, she used her trick.
Oh.
For those of you who don't know,
Double-jointed or
yeah,
whatever.
she's double jointed. She can dislocate her shoulder and her elbow at will, basically. And so she did that to help get Ronda Rousey's armbar over. Not that Ronda Rousey needed help with that, but it looked that much more convincing. So kudos to Alexa Bliss. All the fucking kudos. That right there, probably one of the best things going for that fucking company right now. Ronda Rousey, on the other hand, I'm so torn. Because now it's like she's got this belt, and during the match, bro, she's all like, "Who's ready to see a new women's champion?" And she's saying shit like that. Like, you know what?
Not even.
So
Who is she? Gorilla Monsoon?
yeah, she's Gorilla Monsoon.
Giving away the fucking ending of the match?
Yeah. So with all that being said, I don't want to talk about this a whole lot, but at the same time, the final match that we've got left, there's not much to talk about. So, but I do want to ask you a legitimate question about Ronda Rousey and now her future as a women's champion.
Okay.
Where does she go next? Who's next in line?
I'm probably going to be Alexa Bliss immediately as a rematch.
You think so?
Probably. But I don't know. This is the problem because it's really dangerous water that they're treading in because you have a champion that has no experience or extremely little experience. The only thing that I would suggest, and I've already said this before on the show, is Natalya because Natalya knows her. She knows Natalya. She'd be able to guide her. But I've been having this conversation all week, and there's some people that have already been saying like anyone that has a problem with her is just nothing but a hater. Like you're butt sore about it, and it's like, and it's like I can't speak on behalf of everybody. And it's like I'm not upset about it because it's a company that I can give two shits about.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's dangerous because this is professional wrestling. This isn't MMA. This is stage wrestling. This stage stuff. And you have somebody that has no business being in that ring yet, who's now the focal point of your whole division. Go figure. So where does she go? I don't fucking know anymore because apparently anything is possible. I mean, at this point, we should book the Chris Cyborg match for a WWE show. Everybody just come in. You know, it's like that's my honest opinion on it. It's just like anybody is up for grabs at this point. I mean, Lillian Garcia should be the number one contender for the Raw Women's Championship. You know, I understand she's a freak athlete, Ronda Rousey, and this and that, but this is professional wrestling. This isn't, the Olympics or UFC, which is fake, or anything of that nature. This is professional wrestling.
Feel free to hate tweet Matt at 20x20 Crew on Twitter.
I want to see what you guys got. Hashtag heel.
Man, you know what? I agree with you. If anybody's next, it should be Natalya.
Yeah.
Because I think that prolongs her reign as champ with a little more integrity. Much more than she can supply to the
You have to play
situation.
it safe, too.
Yeah.
You have to play it safe. It's kind of a oxymoron because you got to play it safe in a situation where you're playing with a really dangerous hand here. I mean, Ronda Rousey just doesn't have it yet. I mean, whether she gets it or not is not the point. It's just like, she'll figure it out. So let's throw her everything.
So for your money, would you say Alexa Bliss gets her her return match at Hell in a Cell before Natalya gets a crack at it, or vice versa?
I would say Hell in a Cell for Alexa Bliss. I think if you're going to go Natalya, do it at Evolution. And here's the shitty part about this company. I think Natalya eventually takes that title from Ronda Rousey, and the only reason why is because her dad just passed. They are notorious for giving you titles for people passing away.
Well, you know what? With that being said, then I think she gets it before Alexa.
The reason why I said Evolution is because that's a bigger pay-per-view than Hell in a Cell.
Oh, okay. I'll give you that.
That's the only reason why.
But yeah, you're right. They are notorious for doing that. So
like Rey Mysterio's world title reign.
Yeah. Wow. And rounding out the card, Roman Reigns finally defeats Brock Lesnar for the pretty much undesirable, non-existent Universal Championship in a little over 6 minutes with the help of Braun Strowman. You didn't watch, so here's what happened.
Okay.
They introduce Roman and Lesnar. They come out, and they're both in the ring. And Strowman's music hits, and he comes down to ringside with the briefcase. He doesn't cash in, but he tells both people, I'm going to be at ringside watching you guys. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to be like a coward and cash in at the last minute when you guys got your backs turned. No. I'm letting you know ahead of time, soon as this is over, I'm cashing in. So be leery. But he stood at ringside the entire time, and eventually he ended up getting into the match. Not by his choice, mind you. Actually, okay. Brock Lesnar, I take that back. Roman Reigns accidentally hit him with a move, which got him into the match. And then Lesnar decided to take more focus onto Braun Strowman than Roman Reigns, and that's how Roman Reigns won the title. I am so glad this fucking reign of horrible terror from Brock Lesnar is over. Hopefully now they do the right thing and start to repair that title and give it some credibility again. For those of you who have been paying attention, the Shield is back together, and from what I understand, this is the makeup session from when Roman got the measles, when they were supposed to have that run as the Shield.
Oh yeah.
So now this is the redo, because now everybody's healthy and everybody's back, and no one has measles and no one has,
torn muscles
and shit. So that's what's going on now. But it's like, great. I mean, are we going to get to see Roman defend the Universal Championship by himself, or is this going to be a fucking Shield thing now? Like, I don't know. And I don't care, to be honest with you. I'm just glad that Brock Lesnar no longer has that title. I'm also hearing, again, it's rumor before it's truth, so that Finn Balor's chances at a Universal title shot are out the window now. Like, the company's just not, like, they could give two shits about him and that belt. So it looks like Roman's going to carry it for a good while.
Another 2 years.
And, all these fucking, obviously, when something like this happens, immediately the internet wrestling community just goes apeshit and overreacts. And I've already seen images of, like, fucking Roman versus Rock at WrestleMania. And just fucking...
Why do you want to see that?
I don't know, man. I don't fucking know.
Why is that like, oh my god, we need to do that? Why?
I don't know.
Who are these people?
I want to find these people, and I want to sell them magic beans from my garden in the back of my house. I guarantee you I will be rich overnight.
Oh my... Well, you gotta have Vince selling it, though. You gotta...
Have some beans, pal. Fuck.
That's fucking insane. And for... You and I are not the biggest Finn Balor fan, but, like, that's one of those things where it's like, leave the company.
Yes.
Don't stay there.
Yeah, leave the company.
Don't stay there and be mistreated so you can fight constables for a minute and a half.
A minute and a half.
Like, just leave the fucking company. Kevin Owens, leave this fucking place. You know, if you want to have a run by a bunch of fucking morons that are doing it for a bunch of moronic fans, yeah, I said it. Just fucking sue me. Because that's what you are if you buy into this shit. Like it's the fucking gospel. Not that, like, oh, it's okay. You know, it's fine.
Yeah, you know what? If you're a fan, obviously be a fan.
Yeah.
But we're talking about those people who, like, refuse to accept any other fucking promotion anywhere.
You got people that, you know, so you NXT happened, and NXT, I haven't watched that either.
It was an awesome fucking show.
And a lot of people are like, man, NXT wins again. And you got those people are like, you got to be out of your mind. SummerSlam was like the greatest pay-per-view of all time. You know, have you seen that Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match? I was like, no, I was in the kitchen making a sandwich. I must have missed it. It was that fucking short. Because here's the thing. The last 4 matches from Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin all the way on was less time than the Daniel Bryan and the Miz match.
Yeah.
4 fucking matches are less than 23 minutes and 23 and a half minutes.
Yeah.
How was that fucking good?
And those are your go home matches. Those are your main events. You know?
Here's my review of SummerSlam. I am justified by the fact that I watch fucking reruns of the video game, the Angry Video Game Nerd all night, and not watch this fucking bullshit. I'm glad I did not waste my fucking time watching SummerSlam, because again, it wasn't out of spite that I wasn't watching the fucking pay-per-view. It was just the fact that I would rather do anything else. I'd watch anything over SummerSlam at this point, because it's like I know that I'm going to be bored out of my mind. I'm going to be frustrated because guys that I have so much respect for are pretty much whoring themselves out. They're whoring their names out to make a quick buck when you can go anywhere else in the world and make the same quick buck, but do it with fucking respect on your fucking name. You know, it's like fucking whatever, man. Like, it is what it is. There's no point. And then again, for those people that are like hell bent on WWE being the best thing and the only thing, you can fucking have it. You can have this fucking dog shit fucking pay per view. This bullshit fucking company. I don't fucking want any part of it. I'm only talking about it because I know there's listeners out there that do like it. So I'm doing it for you guys. Because this shit's literally giving... I have a fucking pounding in the back of my head right now.
Oh, no.
It's literally giving me a fucking headache. Thank you.
Time to change the subject.
Thank you, WWE.
Did you watch TakeOver?
No, I did not watch TakeOver yet. I will watch that, though.
All right.
But I do know the results. I did watch some of the highlights of the Ricochet Adam Cole match.
Oh, my God. Hell of a fucking match. That super kick. Or I don't want to call it a super kick, but that kick, that side kick.
Side kick from the moonsault?
That was... Oh, my God.
That was pretty nasty.
It was nasty. So nasty. Nasty like a fucking Charlie Huff not curveball, knuckleball. But, Jesus. Yeah. NXT was so fucking good, I watched it twice. I mean, you had, the fucking second match in was Pete Dunne against Zach Gibson. It went 14 minutes. Fucking awesome match. You had the Undisputed Era going up against Mustache Mountain, which I'm still... Dude, that was my only fucking regret for that Progress show, that we didn't get to see them in tag team action.
Yeah.
Velveteen Dream defeated EC3. And this, out of all these matches... That was the only one I was iffy about. Not because of Velveteen Dream, but because of EC3.
Well, yeah, that's that. I've been trying to explain to people. EC3 is a great character, but he's like the Miz.
Yeah.
Once that bell rings, he loses it.
And you know what? It wasn't the best of matches. It could have been better, but for an EC3 match, it was actually pretty decent. And he has Velveteen Dream to thank for that. That match went on a little over 15 minutes. So, again, Ricochet and Adam Cole, fucking awesome match. Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler, another awesome match. You know, congratulations to Kairi Sane on the win.
Yeah, new NXT Women's Champion.
Yeah, no, and the way they did it was cool, man. It was
Yeah.
very, very cool. Like you and I talked, and I think we both agreed that Shayna Baszler was going to keep that title, and they during that match they set it up the same way, and then the way she gets pinned is like, all right, cool, that works. So, and then the main event, Tommaso Ciampa defeats Johnny Gargano in a last man standing match. Dude, they went over half an hour, and it was fucking entertaining, and the ending was like, haha, shit. Man, awesome fucking card, man. It was great. Again, I watched it twice.
I love that the shortest match was 6 minutes, and that was the first match. It was 10 seconds shorter than the main event of SummerSlam.
Perspective, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I have to definitely get on this and watch it. I don't know what I was doing that Saturday night, but I just wasn't. I don't think I was home that night, so I haven't popped on the WWE Network and checked it out yet. But yeah, this card definitely had so much hype by me. The Undisputed Era, Mustache Mountain. I've seen those guys go at it twice now this summer, and both matches blew my mind. So I can only imagine.
You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, I can only imagine what this one's going to be. And then, like Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, I've been on record saying that this needs to be the last time. And I probably, no matter how good it is, I'll probably stand by that. But I still don't have a gripe because these two have really good chemistry together.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm hearing like around the rumor mill that they're just setting it up to another DIY reunion with Johnny Gargano turning heel eventually.
Wow.
So, if they do it though, I know it's me holding them back, but it's like stay on NXT then and do it.
Yeah.
I fucking love DIY as a tag team. Great tag team. Like the only tag team that I would watch during their run, where I would actually be against the Revival, was when they fought DIY. That's how much I love them, man. They were that good. But yeah, this is one of those things where I can say, hey, WWE has figured something out when it comes to their product, because it's like, man, this right here. You know, you can call it, oh, that's not the main roster and this and that. Whatever. I don't fucking care what you want to call it. You know, you only want to give me an hour of it a week. You know, so long as you keep doing this shit, these takeover pay-per-views, because they've all been fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Prior to the Brooklyn 4, I think it is the fourth one.
Yeah, it's fourth one.
I've seen every single one, and every single one has let me down. So
that you're absolutely right, man. You fucking every weekend they have a big pay-per-view. And there's an NXT pay-per-view. That's the highlight of my fucking wrestling weekend right there.
Every time, yeah.
You know, it's like, fuck Sunday.
Yeah. You know, we used to get a lot of people over, and we should do this again, where we get people over and watch pay-per-views.
Yeah.
But we need to do it for, like, one, non-WWE shows, or do it on Saturday nights and just do TakeOver.
Just do TakeOver instead, yep.
You know, because usually when we watch a WWE product, we're just bullshit making fun of what we're watching anyways. You know, so, I don't know. Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Speaking of a company getting it, there's another article over at CagesideSeats.com. This one is by Brent Brookhouse, and he poses the question, does the NWA get it more than anybody these days? Really interesting read. You know, talks about Billy Corgan and Lagana and Nick Aldis. Cody Rhodes is also in there. I said this a while ago, and I quite honestly, I don't remember what episode I said it on, but NWA is this fucking looming dark horse. And they're doing everything they need to do for themselves to stay relevant, and they're doing it in such an old school way with having a traveling champion that man, they're gonna come out of nowhere and surprise the fuck out of everybody. They're taking their time, they're doing it right. I'm calling it right now, man. They're gonna be a force to reckon with sooner than later.
What do you think? And I need to remind everybody that we are 24 hours from All In,
where the 10 pounds of gold is going to be defended, man. I'm fucking so excited. Oh my God.
Do you think it starts to get out of the shadows a bit more with All In? I mean, how important is All In for, in your opinion, for that 10 pounds of gold? How important is it for that title to be defended on that show?
You know what? It all depends how you look at it.
Okay.
Because All In has become such an attraction in and of itself, it is important to the title. And I'm kind of like saying that personally is a little bit bittersweet for me, because to me that title has never lost its integrity and its meaning. It's always been there with me as a wrestling purist. But for the majority of fans out there, it hasn't, and rightfully so. You're not wrong in thinking that, because let's face it, that title went to shit when the NWA went to shit.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I've always held that title in such high esteem, and anybody who carries it, whether it be for, a week or a year, they definitely not only have my eyeballs glued to them, but they definitely have a certain level of respect with me. Like, wow, you got to hold that title. You got to be champion. And Nick Aldis is no different. And, when he came out and they did this thing where, hey, I'm going to try to do 22 or 23 bouts in a month and successfully defend it and just bring it all over the damn place. A lot of new school fans were like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this is stupid. Like, no, it's not stupid. That's how you regain integrity in a title, especially if you're going to approach it in such an old school way. What do you think happened? How do you think this fucking title got to be where it was to begin with?
Right.
So, I really like what they're doing. And yes, All In is important to this title. More importantly than All In, is who's fighting Nick Aldis for this title.
Yeah.
In the form of Cody Rhodes. I'm calling it right now. I think Cody takes it.
I agree.
And this is the next step in elevating that title to the prestige that it once had. And quite honestly, who better to take it than Cody Rhodes?
And Cody Rhodes, who obviously his lineage leaks back to the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, but more importantly, for present times, a guy that who has taken the wrestling world basically by the palm of his hand. He's carrying it himself. Yeah, that's how big his name is. And then, with all due respect to the lineage, that was the point that he wanted to make, anyways, was that he's not Dusty's kid. He is, but that's not who his legacy is. What his legacy is. He's going to take the world by storm, the wrestling world by storm. He's done that. And so by putting that title on him, with all due respect to Nick Aldis, who's done a fantastic job as champion.
Absolutely.
What Cody can do to that is take it to a whole new platform. And again, I don't want to keep doing this, bringing up old guys, but, like the present day Ric Flair, the hot commodity with that title. Yeah. How you work it in, let's say Cody Rhodes takes that all the way to the Wrestle Kingdom. He walks into that title and you defend that title against whoever it is. That title, the way around Cody's waist, has just as much prestige at this point, if done right, as that IWGP Heavyweight title. Exactly. And that matches that you have that kind of a profile to it. It was defended here. It was defended there. It was defended at this show and that show, and that's exactly what you're saying. And now you're passing on to, potentially, if Cody does win tomorrow, you're passing it on to somebody who has an even bigger name, and it's going to help him out, obviously, and not only him but also his show, but also the NWA name as a whole is just like, what is this title? For people who are not familiar with it,
it brings a whole new possible fan base, a lot of interest, and just the concept alone of bringing that title into places like Ring of Honor and New Japan And, having it show up back in New Japan, like, holy shit. That's huge. That's fucking astronomically huge, man.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't agree with me or don't fathom that concept, man, take the time and go find old clips and highlights and what have you, and see who that belt was carried by, and some of the matches that got put on for that belt. You will understand where I'm coming from.
You don't have to go that far either. You can just watch something as simple as the WWE Network.
Yeah,
watch where when that title went somewhere, especially during the territory days. One of my favorite ones I bring up is when Ric Flair went to Dallas, Texas.
World class, baby.
With the world class, and that type of rivalry that he had with the Von Erichs, Kerry, and those types of matches. But before all that, the type of hype that it brought, because you can watch so many of those world class shows, the weekly shows in a row, and like it was good shows. But then when it was announced that Ric Flair was coming with that title, it was like on fucking overdrive, man. The type of hype that show got, and the type of buzz that you saw with the wrestlers and with the fans
through those crowds,
man, it was nuts, man. And like that's what that title brought. And yeah, it was because of Ric Flair as well, but it was also what Ric Flair had around his waist.
Yeah,
and just maybe Kerry can take that from him, and now that title's a world class championship wrestling. How big that would be for that promotion?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what a title's supposed to be. And so, yeah, do they get it? Does Billy Corgan and NWA get it? I think so.
Yeah, so do I.
I think they understand the concept of it. You're trying to take something from the ashes, and raise it up, and this is how you do it.
This is exactly how you do it.
Promote, but all in the right places.
And on that note, we're gonna take a quick break and go.
We're gonna promote.
We're gonna go promote. We're gonna go pay some bills, and yeah, stay tuned.
Hello, wrestling fans. Matt here, and I have a question for you. Do you think you know more about wrestling than the 20x20 Ring Crew? Well, now's your chance. Starting this September, your boys at the 20x20 Ring Crew will be starting a brand new monthly contest where we test your knowledge on the history of professional wrestling. Each week, you'll have an opportunity to answer a brand new question. Be one of the first 20 people to answer correctly, and you'll be entered in a drawing to win cool prizes. I'm talking pops, figures, shirts, DVDs, Blu-rays, and much more. Visit 20by20crew.com/podcast/Instagram for more details. And now, enjoy more of the show. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for hanging around while we do some promoting and pay some bills in the process. As always, thanks for your support.
Thank you.
We are watching the Best of the X Division.
Volume 1.
Volume 1. Catch that on the Global Wrestling Network. Technical difficulties seem to be over, hopefully. So hopefully we can watch wrestling without any issues. Speaking of watching wrestling without any issues, that's the goal for tomorrow. All in.
Yeah, baby.
24 hours. It's happening. And we're here. We are finally here.
Oh, man. I can't wait, dude.
Man, Sears Center, Hoffman Estates, Illinois. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not going to be in attendance, or you're not part of the 10,000 in attendance, that's okay. Because you can watch it on different platforms. First of all, you can watch the pre-show via WGN America. Check your local listings on that.
It's the first full hour of the show. So you're getting I believe you're getting the Battle Royal.
You're getting the Battle Royal, and then you're getting a tag team match between SoCal Uncensored and the Briscoes. Of course, everything is subject to change, but that's the plan right now.
Yeah, that's the plan right now. So,
and then, of course, you have multiple ways to watch the actual show. You can use it you can watch it via a Honor Club subscription. Right. You can check that out. If you don't know how to get one, you can go through our website and figure out all the details. 20x20crew.com/podcast/Honor Club. That's all one word. Or can they still save money from us?
Yes. We'll do you one better. If you're not signed up with the Fight TV network, go ahead, come over to us over at 20x20crew.com/podcast/fight. That's FITE. And download yourself a copy of the Fight TV app. sign up as a new user. You got to be a new user in order to take advantage of the deal. But once you do that through us, we're going to give you $20 of free credit right off the bat the moment you sign up.
And again, if I'm not mistaken, that's half off. That's half off the price.
Half off the price. I mean,
and you can watch it whenever you want.
Yeah, you get to keep it once you buy it.
As many times you want.
Yep.
So
that's awesome.
Check out our website for more information on that. Again, if you can't watch in attendance, be a part of the show by being hopefully one of the millions or potentially billions of people watching this show at some point. Probably millions. Let's not, I guess, jump too much. But I get a little excited. I'm sorry. But All In is tomorrow. It's Saturday, September 1st. Man, I cannot wait. And it's brought to you by 3 individuals. That's the thing that really piqued my interest the most, was that it was 3 individuals. Even if it was people that I didn't care about, that's impressive. So yes, I'm a Cody and Young Bucks fan, but even if it was like The Miz and 2 other people I don't care about, if they did that, it's impressive.
It's still impressive. Yeah,
feat.
Oh yeah.
But as I mentioned, Cody and Matt and Nick Jackson, known as the Young Bucks, this is their show they put together. They funded it. They rented out the arena. They sold the tickets. They did all that stuff. They hired the talents. They booked the talents. Not only the wrestlers, but the referees, the commentators, the whole shebang. They got the TV deals. They got the streaming services on board. That was through them. And I'm sure they had help along the way, of course, but that started with them. It started with an idea. And on another podcast, the Chris Jericho's podcast, he had him on, and he asked them about potentially signing with another company that we've discussed on previous shows. And you and I had no intentions, prior to us recording, that you and I had no intentions on talking about this, because it's kind of like being at a dead horse right now.
Yeah. This was not on the plans for the show on this episode.
Right.
Not anytime soon. Because again, you're absolutely right. It is like beating a dead horse at this point.
Yeah.
But the partial transcript came out from the episode of Chris Jericho's podcast with them on it, and they had some interesting things to say about returning. Cody returning to the WWE and the Bucks signing with the WWE. And I could not help it but send the information over to my brother Matt here, because we're constantly at war or in shenanigans with people on the internet who swear by their firstborn child that these 3 guys and Kenny Omega are going to just up and leave, like, especially this weekend. They're just going to fucking ditch the show and show up at a WWE event to be signed. And it's like, how fucking ludicrous of an idea is that? You know?
I've even heard many say SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah, the one that just happened, right?
Yeah. They're still going to show up. We'll be there.
What happened to that?
SummerSlam's still going on, goddammit. It's still real to me.
So this information fell into our hands, and I couldn't help but share it, and I told Matt right away, please share this with the rest of the internet wrestling community to essentially just shut these people up.
You know what I heard?
Please tell me, what did you hear?
Insert crickets. Those people have been dead silent. Hey, you know what? Some of my supporters have came on and said, like, is anybody going to rebut this at all?
Oh, man.
Because these aren't my words. I didn't say a fucking thing. I just posted something that was said by the guys that are in question. So this is not my opinion by any means.
Ladies and gentlemen who listen to this show, first of all, thank you for listening too.
Yes, thank you.
The more you listen to us, I think it'll be clearer to understand that, first of all, we are not the be-all, end-all of wrestling podcasts by any means.
Oh, absolutely not.
And when we approach a topic or a person or an event or whatever, however you want to split those hairs, we do it with common sense. And, obviously we interject our opinions in there, but there's a lot of logic behind what Matt and I talk about, and because that's just the kind of people we are. And for these three guys, and I'm going to throw Kenny Omega here in the mix because he's been that other part of the hot topic. But
yeah,
so these four guys, for them to up and just leave what they're doing and go to be signed at SummerSlam, a few weeks before their independent show that they're responsible for. How does that make any sense? I mean, please, if there's a theory out there that works, I want to know about it, because I don't think there is. And obviously it didn't happen. We are now post SummerSlam, and guess what? They're still not signed. They didn't show up on Raw. They didn't show up on SmackDown. They didn't show up on NXT. They didn't show up on any other fucking show that's out there that's WWE related. They just didn't, and they're not, because we're 24 hours away from All In. Simple as that.
Show they paid for.
Show they paid for. Like, why wouldn't they be there? So, but yeah, we're relentlessly in war with these people who they are hell-bent on these performers, these wrestlers coming over to WWE. And again, I don't want to go too much into it because it's like beating a dead horse. But with that being said, here's what Cody had to say.
And you quote.
And I quote, "Somebody asked me the other day, would you go back? And the answer has pretty much definitely become, I don't think so. Not because I don't like the WWE or WrestleMania, or I don't like money, or I don't like the big production. Because I am literally now incapable of taking direction. If you told me you're going to write something for me, no. If you told me you're going to produce something, no. If you gave me a time and a finish, cool. But even that, I don't want to discourage, because you've got Arn Anderson, you've got Mike Rotunda, you've got these guys as producers in WWE, out of respect for sure. But out of respect for myself, it's my song that I go out there to play." End quote. I think that says it all right there. I'm going to ask everybody a simple question, and this doesn't even have to be wrestling related, but it is relatable to this situation. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Here it goes. If you had the opportunity to legitimately be your own boss in something that you're good at, after having that experience of going it on your own and being your own boss, setting your own hours, making your own money, why would you want to go back to your previous job?
What sense does that make?
Take the time. I'll wait. Pause the podcast if you want to, but take the time and ask yourself that. And if you can't come up with a really good fucking answer, and it can't be money, because Cody's making more money than he did into the WWE. So
that's been proven.
That's been proven.
Yeah.
So the answer cannot be money. Your answer cannot be money.
Working less dates.
Seriously, take the time, pause this podcast, and think about what I just said. And if you can't come up with a good reason, then guess what? You're on Cody's side.
Yeah.
And guess what? You agree with us.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's as simple as that. Because that's what he's doing. That's what they're doing. Him and the Bucks and Omega. All these guys are doing the same thing. They're not with the WWE. They're making more money than the WWE would probably offer them. Although, there's that whole bit about Vince McMahon promising to sign these guys so that they can't or they can't participate in the G1 Supercard in April 2019. That's a whole nother story. that's just Vince being an egotistical bastard.
Yeah, it's definitely sour grapes.
Yeah, but realistically, anyone who's ever had a taste of that knows that I'm completely true in what I'm saying. And you don't want to go back. You don't want to go back. Because he's right. He's incapable of taking direction. He's having a fuck ton of success doing it on his own terms. Yeah. That is the American dream. Nope. And I'm not even trying to throw a pun in there.
Yeah, not trying to be cute there.
That is literally the American dream.
Yeah.
To do something you love to do on your own terms.
On your own terms, man. Who wouldn't want that? I mean, and what I love about what Cody said, first of all, this is a guy that I think finally is no longer bitter about how things are in the WWE. Because why would you be? Yeah. Because, yeah, they told you to paint your face and act like a fucking idiot for over a year. And, you know, I know he's good friends with him, but, do stupid fucking matches with Stephen Amell. The Red Arrow versus the Green Arrow and all this other dumb shit. And that's fine. Like, if you would have asked him 2 years ago, there's definitely be hostility. But you look at it now, it's like, it's not the same thing, but it's like when I got somewhat kicked out of my parents' house. And within less than a year, I bought my own house. And it's like, well, how can I still be mad at that? You know? Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could say, like, it's shitty how it went down. But you know what? I look where I'm at now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Cody can say that way, in such a higher degree, because it's like, yeah, I was like a guy that was on the fucking main event show that, is barely produced. It's not even produced anymore, or promoted anymore, I should say. He's on the main event show. He's on Superstars. He's maybe doing a squash match on Raw where he's jobbing. To now, he's a former Ring of Honor World Champion. He's had some great matches with some of the best talents in the world in many different promotions. And then to top all this off, you have All In, a show that he put together. The hype that is going into the show, he was a huge part of that. He was the guy that started it all. And then, now you potentially throw in the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, and I mean, the sky's the limit. You did all that in 2 years? That's insane.
It is completely insane.
So, what I love about what he said on the Jericho podcast is everything that he would have said 2 years ago, but there's no hostility. It's like, it's not like, oh yeah, fuck the WWE and this and that, which I would have understood, but I appreciate even more that he didn't, because it's just like, yeah, I could go back and, I could do this and I could make this kind of money and this and that, but I don't want to do what they tell me to do. I don't want to put my career in their hands. And that's exactly what he's saying here. I can't be like, okay, Cody, this is what you're going to do tonight. No. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Yeah. I mean, and it's not to say that Cody's calling his own shots in Ring of Honor and stuff like that, but it's definitely more of a, this is what we're doing. This is what we get to do. Okay. Like Bernard. That was his doing. It's not like, hey, we're going to have you come out with a bear. That was his doing.
Yeah.
That was, and the Ring of Honor. The actual ring of honor.
The piece of jewelry.
Yeah, the piece of jewelry. Again, that's a Cody thing. And it's a silly idea. Sure it is, but it's gotten over. It's things like that. It's how he carries himself in that ring. He's not being told to do this. Yeah, you're going to be told, hey, you're not winning the title tonight. You got to drop the title to Dalton Castle tonight. All right, but we're going to do it on my terms.
Yep.
And that's good business right there. And I love with Jericho, how Jericho responded to that. And we talked about the Festival of Friendship for Kevin Owens. He's like, even during that time, he worked primarily with Jimmy Jacobs, and they're on the same wavelength, as he said. But even during that, with all that, because it's WWE, it still was a process to try to get anything over with what we had to do. And again, you take it from Jericho's mouth himself. It's like, yeah, I agree. I know exactly what you're saying. It's an extremely difficult thing to do to try to get anything done as far as what we want to do with that company, because you got to jump through fucking hoops to do it. And so Cody's just pretty much saying, like, look, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with hostility or bitterness anymore. He didn't even mention merchandise money or work schedule. It's just, I just want to do things on my terms. And you said it perfectly clear. It's if you have that opportunity, if it's there for you, why wouldn't you want that? Why wouldn't you want to just say, you know what? I'm not going to work today. I'll work tomorrow. Or we got a big event happening. You know what? I'm just going to take the rest of the week off. I'll see you then. He could do that.
He could do that. Matt Jackson of the Young Bucks was quoted as saying, that would be so hard for me and Nick because we're DIY. Like, from the ground up, we've made every decision on our own. We've built ourselves up to this empire now on our own. So it would be like, how can I hand over the keys to this car to someone at this point? Like, I'd feel so afraid. But you know the rules have changed now. I told Nick this the other day. I was like, now everybody in WWE eventually wants to be where we're at currently, and we did it without having to go there. Because eventually, you want to get to a point where Jericho is, where you call your own shots. You do whatever you want. You have fun. That's what we do already. We never had to go there. It's like we're fortunate and we're lucky to be in the situation we are because it's never happened before, like ever. And he's absolutely right. This is unprecedented. For me, this is just the beginning. These four guys are just the beginning. You're going to see more of this, whether anybody likes it or not, whether anybody's a fan of it or not. You're going to see more of this in the months and years to come, especially during this big wrestling boom.
Yeah.
You're going to have talent who's going to get sick and tired of being at the WWE or whatever company they're in, and guess what? They're going to go out there and they're going to go try to make a name for themselves elsewhere.
Right.
And and I hate to tell you guys this, but for those who think this is all about money, it's not. At the end of the day, that peace of mind, that personal freedom plays a significant part in this decision-making process. And they want to wrestle. They want to wrestle for people, for fans and everything, but they want to do it on their own terms. And they don't want to do it for Vince McMahon, at least not the way he's running things now. And they're doing it. They're doing it like smashingly successfully. So
I always try to be fair with everything that I say, both on this podcast and just in any conversation. There was a time when I looked at guys like a Kevin Owens and a Sami Zayn when he first got to NXT. Both times when they were in NXT. And I remember I would talk to certain wrestlers like, man, it's so cool because we saw those guys in the independents, in the indies, the underground, if you will. And now here they are on the big stage of WWE. Like, that's awesome, man. Good for them. Cesaro, another guy.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan was a huge one for me personally. And it was like, man, this is so cool. Like, that now they're here and they're finally getting their dues. Like, that's awesome. And I was on that boat. Like, I said that. And I wholeheartedly admit to that. And I don't take it back from what I said then, during those times.
Nor should you.
The tides have turned. Wrestling has changed. Wrestling has definitely evolved to something different. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I've said this so many times, you no longer have to be in the WWE to be a successful name or a big name in this business. You don't have to have the WWE moniker. And you look at the Young Bucks are the perfect example. Because even Kenny Omega, even though he didn't become a name at all in WWE, even Kenny Omega has ties with WWE, technically. So I'm going to rule that out because I know some asshole is going to be like, oh, Kenny Omega had WWE exposure. Yeah, really, Deep South Wrestling. Yeah, okay. The Young Bucks never wrestled in a WWE match. I don't even know if they had a trial or not. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised, but that doesn't count because that's not an actual event. That's just a tryout.
It's a tryout.
They became a household names as a tag team by what they did in other companies. And that's a very rare thing that I'm telling you right now, and I'm going to go on the record saying this, and I'm going to stand by this in a year, and a year after that, and a year after that. They're one of the pioneers of a new tradition where guys and girls do not have to ever go to the WWE and become those household names. Like, for example, a Tetsuya Naito. Anybody that's a fan of professional wrestling at least knows the name of Tetsuya Naito. And that's going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to grow, whether it's Ring of Honor or New Japan or all these other independent companies. And they really helped start this trend of like, look, you can do things on your own term. It's not about where you perform, it's about how you perform and what you put into your craft. Just like anything else you do in your life. Like you and I in this podcast. If this thing's ever going to take off where we want to, it's about the work that we put into it.
Absolutely.
And I'm not trying to preach to anybody, but that's how you become successful in your life, is by putting in the work. It doesn't matter where you work at. And that's the problem. And that's a lazy mentality. And I somewhat had that mentality of, this is where you want to grind, and then you get your dues in the WWE and say, wake up, Matt, that's not how it works. That's not how it should work. And I'm really proud of these guys to pave that way, at least in the wrestling business, to where you can put in all this work and then you can become these names because of who you are, not where you work.
Not where you work.
And that's, to me, that is the coolest fucking thing about the Young Bucks. Other than the fact that I hear they're really cool guys to meet.
Yeah,
but
they are very cool.
But that's the coolest thing about them to me. The wrestling's great. I love the ring work. Obviously, they're good chemistry. I mean, they're actual brothers. They always seem to be having fun in that ring. That's always good to watch. It makes for good TV. But behind it all, you see two guys that grinded and say, you know what, we're just going to be ourselves. And holy shit, that's what worked. That's what worked all along, was we're just going to be ourselves. I mean, yeah, they also took in the fact that they were also being dubbed as cocky pricks. And it's like, well, if that's what people think of us, and that's what we're going to be.
That's what we're going to be.
But again, they did things their own way, man. And that is so cool. And Matt's right. You look at where you guys want to be in the wrestling business. That's where you want to be at.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
You want to be successful. You want to be over. You want to be your own boss.
And you want to do it without the leash around your neck.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to throw shade at WWE at this point. I'm really not. Like, if that's where you want to work, that's where you want to work. And I've said it so many times. If that's where Cody and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega end up because they want to go there, that's where they end up. I've never picked a side and said this is verbatim where they're going to go. What I said was, and this is pretty much what they've acknowledged, is that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
It doesn't make sense. It's just, there's no logic. There's no logic behind it.
So I'm really, has this episode been released yet at this point?
I would assume.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to listen to the whole thing in its entirety.
Me too.
Man, and I'm glad that they got I'm glad they said this part. You know, you go leading into All In as well. Such a major event. Again, showing what guys can do if you put in the work without any moniker. Just put in the work.
Just put in the work.
Promote yourselves. Promote what you do. And I love what Chris Jericho said too. That he talked to Vince about All In, and Vince said that they're not going to do well. They picked the wrong time of year.
Yeah, he said, September is traditionally a horrible time to promote.
And they sold out in 30 minutes.
Sold out in 30 minutes, folks.
And this is the reason why, and this is what Jericho said, why that they're on the radar. That they are on the radar. For not only WWE, but anybody else.
Anybody else, yeah.
So the sky's the limit, man. The sky's the limit. And it was a really intriguing interview. And I've got nothing but crickets from all the naysayers. And that's fine. If you got nothing to say, you got nothing to say. Again, this is not my words. This is not me, hey, I told you so. This is just saying, hey, Cody and the Bucks were asked a question regarding it by Chris Jericho. This is their answer.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about it. So, really interesting stuff, man. So, but the hell what Vince McMahon says about September. September is a great time for wrestling, man. End of the year, end of the summer, I should say. Beginning of like this whole fall. Everything's new, everything's fresh, and you start with All In.
Dude, he's just out of touch, man. He's just out of touch. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's completely wrong. Let's face it, he has all these years of experience of promoting. I can't take that away from him.
Sure.
Absolutely. To do so would be like saying, 3 certain guys were going to show up at SummerSlam. Let's face it, it's not, no.
What?
But on the same token, like I still do feel like he's legitimately out of touch with today's wrestling fan. And you know what? I say that out of personal experience because me being close to 40 here, there's a whole class of a whole generation of younger wrestling fan that I feel out of touch with.
Yeah.
I mean, we share something in common, and that is the love of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
But beyond that, there's a big difference. There's a big difference in appearance and personality and things like that. Not that that's a bad thing. That's not what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
But some of the things that younger fans say and do and follow and have opinions about, I don't. So it does make for a very interesting barometer. But I wouldn't take that away from Vince, and on the same token, I wouldn't take this away from the Cody and the Bucks.
Right.
So, credit to the guys over at Wrestling Inc. for doing the transcript of Jericho's podcast. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
On that note, man, let's end the show. Let's end the show on a good note.
Yeah.
And again, this wasn't an I told you so from Matt, but you know what? From me, it's an I told you so.
Yeah. You know what, ladies and gentlemen, sit and ponder about that. Whether you agree with us or not, ponder about that for a week, and let us know what you think. What is your immediate reaction to what Cody and the Bucks have said on the Jericho podcast? And again, don't attack us because these aren't our words. So let us know.
Let us know. You can tweet us at 20x20crew. 20x20crew on Twitter. You can check us out on Instagram, instagram.com/20x20crew, which we're going to start the contest.
One thing everybody can agree on is that we like free stuff.
Everybody likes free
stuff.
Free 99, baby.
All you got to do is have an Instagram account, follow us on Instagram, and then every week we will have a picture with a question. Be one of the first 20 to answer that question, and you will be automatically put into our drawing for a free item at the end of the month.
At the end of September. So get ready, guys. Catch us on YouTube, 20x20crew.com/podcast/YouTube. We're always looking for followers. We have exclusive YouTube content in the following contest where Matt and I have fantasy book different stuff. There's going to be more and more stuff added in the upcoming months.
Yes.
Our main home domain on the web is 20x20crew.com. You can find all of our information for everything there. Again, we're also on Facebook, facebook.com/20x20crew for our official page, and Facebook.com/groups/20x20talk if you want to come say hi and chat about professional wrestling, which we're always up for. Just don't be mad when when three guys who did it their own way don't want to go to an organization that you want them to.
Or you can be mad, but
yeah.
It is what it is. Again, check out All In tomorrow, Saturday, September 1st.
Check your local listings. First hour of the show is going to be on WGN America. Please check your local listings. If you don't have WGN America, that's fine. You can also order the pay-per-view via traditional pay-per-view means or through Fight TV and the Fight TV app. Again, do it through us. We're going to give you $20 of credit right away to go watch whatever you want, but hopefully All In.
All In, yeah.
20x20crew.com/podcast/fight. That's FITE. Will get you a means to sign up and get your $20 worth of credit right away.
And as always, support professional wrestling.
Yes, support professional wrestling. Support the heels. Support the baby faces.
Support WWE if you have to.
Yeah.
We love you too.
NXT, baby.
NXT. That's the reason why we love you now. We will have a full report on All In. Again, we will be there live. And we will do that all next week. Until then, we will
see you in the ring.